For some teams, making the playoffs isn't the question. The question is, can they make it past the first round? Toronto Maple Leafs fans, you know what I'm talking about. It's been 10 long years since you guys have been able to clear that hurdle. Is this year going to be any different? Let's find out. Welcome back, hockey fans. Welcome in if this is your first time to the channel. I'm Josh. This is the Hockey Flow. And today, it's Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. That's right, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know the Stanley Cup is your ultimate goal, but right now, we got one thing to focus on. Can you guys get past the first round of the playoffs? We're going to talk about that. We're going to go in deep using player card data, Daily Faceoff, hockeyreference.com stats, and it gives us an excuse to do a deep dive on one of my favorite players in the NHL, Mitch Marner. Stick around for that. If you do enjoy the content, take a moment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton. We're just getting started. We're going to keep bringing you hockey videos every single day, or almost every single day. Want to make sure you never miss a beat. So let's get started on another edition of Today in Hockey. So first and foremost, Today in Hockey history on this date, August 23rd in 1926. Fun story here. The Montreal Canadiens purchased the contract of George Hainsworth. Hainsworth would go on to have a Hall of Fame career with the Canadiens, but there's a little more to the story. So Hainsworth is actually the gentleman that replaced the great Georges Vezina. Vezina did pass away from tuberculosis in 1926. My goodness, so sad. But Hainsworth did go on to fill his skates and would go on to do so quite nicely with a Hall of Fame career. He actually won the first ever Vezina trophy as well. So neat stuff. Headlines, though. We did have some news today. Carolina Hurricanes, you guys did add some depth. Paul Stastny signs a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with the team. Nice typo there. Give me a hard time in the comments. Anaheim Ducks, Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale. They did announce some number changes today. Zegras is going to wear number 11, and Drysdale is going to wear number 6. So love to see that. I think they're going to really make a name for themselves. So we're back. Question of the day. We got to do some season previews as well. So two birds, one stone. Will the Toronto Maple Leafs, will they make it out of the first round of the playoffs this year? Let's find out. All right, so here we go. We're going to look at the past state. Last season, we're going to look at the current state, the offseason, and this season. We're also going to dive deep into Mitch Marner because I tell you what, he's one of my players to watch this season. I think he's really going to have a great year. So, all right, let's get started. Past state. Last season, you guys had a really, really good season. Regular season was extremely strong, 115 points. Auston Matthews was the talk of the town, 60 goals. Are you kidding me? It was absolutely incredible. He had a stretch, was it 50 and 50 games too? Absolutely incredible. Overall, you guys did great. Had a great season, 4th in the league, 2nd in your division. We see a lot of blue amongst that player card, and get used to seeing these. We're going to be breaking them down a lot. Big shout out to JFresh Hockey. We're going to see the Athletics player card as well. Big shout out to Hockey Reference on these stats, and we're also going to check out Daily Faceoff again. But back to the Maple Leafs and the great season they had. So we don't see much red. We see a ton of blue. Their goals for their offense was lethal. Their defense was a little leaky, and the Tendy spot also a little leaky. Injuries were a big talking point throughout the season. Peter Mrazek just wasn't what that contract made him out to be. But the regular season, that was not the issue. The playoffs, that was the issue. Once again, you ran into a tough opponent, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and you guys were beaten in the first round. We got to get out of that first round. That's the big hurdle. Can we do it? Well, I tell you what, there are some key pieces last season that had some great seasons, right? We're looking at Auston Matthews. Mitch Marner had a great season, 97 points. William Nylander had a great season as well, 80 points, 34 goals, absolutely great. But John Tavares, the captain, he did kind of have a little bit of a letdown, especially at his cap number. He's getting paid so much money there. 76 points. He actually did finish out pretty well, but considering the contract he signed and the fact that he's the captain, folks really expected him to perform better. But was that unfair? Is he getting treated a little unfairly? I understand that he went through a pretty rough stretch last season, but he still finished the year with 27 goals, 49 assists. You would like to see that assist number probably a little higher. And, if he can crack 30 goals, absolutely. But the problem is he's is that he's your second line centerman, right? So you would like to see just a little more production. Plus, we know that he has it in his history. So maybe John Tavares, people were a little hard on him last season, but I do expect him to bounce back. 76 points is still a respectable number. So even if he puts up 80, I think that's a good season. But again, back to the Tendy spot. That's the last thing I'll talk about last season. Soupy, the new Oilers Tendy. Let's go Oilers, baby. I'm excited we got him. I'm surprised you guys didn't make a stronger push to keep a hold of him, but as we're going to see, you did revamp the entire position, brought in 2 new people, so that's going to be your big talking point coming into the season, I do believe. So that was last season. Great year. Regular season was fantastic. Playoffs, not so much, but you ran into a tough opponent. A big part of this is luck too, right? You got to run into the right team at the right moment. But let's look at this season. The current state, 22-23. So key additions and subtractions out. We talked about it. The Tendy position, Soupy, Jack Campbell, Peter Mrazek. They trade both, or they get rid of both of them. Soupy via free agency, Mrazek via trade. Andrej Kasa and Ilya Mikheyev, both out as well. Kasha's one I think we need to look at. He had a really nice impact on that team, and always seemed to, when he's healthy, I should say, seem to do some really good things. So at the end of the day, if he's not going to be on the ice, not going to be of much value. But on the inside, we had Ilya Samsonov and Matt Murray, the Tendies. Can they turn it around? I'm very intrigued to see what they can do. Albert Kubel from Colorado. I think that was a really great signing. Same with Adam Gaudette. Nice depth pieces. Watching Gaudette play with the Senators last season, he really had a great impact that second half. And then Abe Kubel, honestly, I'm surprised he didn't get more ice time in the Stanley Cup playoffs, because in the regular season, he did have a nice little impact for Colorado. And then they did bring in Cale Yarncroc from Nashville as well. Nice little pickup also. Jordy Ben and Victor Medi to round out the signings. But talking points. So we look at the roster. Michael Bunting had a great season, was in that Calder Trophy discussion. Auston Matthews, first line centerman, and then the man, the myth, the legend, Mitch Marner. We're not going to talk about him a ton right now because we're going to get to that in just a moment, but we got to talk about the Tendies, right? Can Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov do enough? Can they perform? Matt Murray is just a couple years removed from being a Stanley Cup hero potentially, and last season struggled really bad with the Senators and then was traded. Ilya Samsonov, coming over from the Capitals, they were expecting some better things out of him as well, but if they can perform up to their potential, the Maple Leafs might be in a good spot this season. Will John Tavares bounce back? Again, like I talked about, I don't know if he's going to necessarily return to the player that he once was, 100-point scorer potentially, but 80 points, 90 points would be absolutely amazing. I think he's capable. It also does matter how the others around him play, and he is surrounded with talent right now. This team is loaded top to bottom. That fourth line in particular, look at that. Wayne Simmons, Adam Gaudette, and Nicholas Aube-Kubel, the two gentlemen I just talked about, and then the old-timer Wayne Simmons. I guess can't say old-timer, but that's a nice fourth line. They'll get physical, and they'll also maybe tap in some goals. But William Nylander and Mitch Marner, those are my two players to watch. William Nylander, I know it feels like he's got some insecurity issues, talking about, well, am I going to be traded? Am I not? Dubas said I wasn't going anywhere, but I fully expect him to have a really, really strong season, match that goal tally, maybe even more. Could he put up 40 this season? Absolutely. A part of it is because he plays with some excellent people. Maybe he gets some more ice time with Mitch Marner this season. Maybe we mix up the lines a little bit. Either way, on the power play, it might be nice to see them getting to play together as well. But speaking of Mitch Marner, let's get into it. I think the Maple Leafs are in a good state this season, but Mitch Marner, if the Maple Leafs are going to get through the first round of the playoffs, Auston Matthews is going to be there. I fully expect him to put up another amazing season. I saw an article talking about 60 goals this season. If Auston Matthews stays healthy, absolutely. 60 goals is obtainable. But for the Toronto Maple Leafs to get past this first round hurdle, Mitch Marner needs to show up, and really, he is someone that I don't think we talk enough about. Look at this player card. Again, big shout out to JFresh Hockey and The Athletic for the one down there with the yellow on it as well, but that's the point. All yellow for that one, and all blue except one little piece on the big player card. Mitch Marner, offensively and defensively, had an amazing season last year. Let's look at it. So honestly, I think he had the perfect balance of offense and defense. Look at that, 98% to 92% offense versus defense. That means he was better than 98% of NHL players offensively at even strength, and 92% of defensive, players defensively than the rest of the NHL. That's absolutely incredible. That 98% WAR, better than 98% of NHL players. Absolutely. And again, he had a great season. 72 games played, 35 goals, 62 assists, 97 points. I really expect him to continue this trajectory. He started scoring more goals last year. If he can keep doing that and keep progressing at this same clip, 40 goals is going to be a shoo-in. We're looking 45 maybe potentially. And if he can keep that assist number right where it's at, maybe even put in a few more, we're well over 100 points. Absolutely. But that's another point I want to make, his passing. Look at those passing numbers. He absolutely blows it out of the park. 98% setups, 100% chance per assist, 98.9% high danger, 99% center lane, low high. Okay, we'll give him a pass on that one. In zone, 99%, and rush, 95%. That is absolutely incredible. Mitch Marner might be one of the best passers in the NHL. I think Leon Draisaitl's still the best passer in the NHL. Let me know in the comments who you guys got, but Mitch Marner might be up there. Absolutely. I need to pay more attention to that. But $10.9 million, that's his cap number. Is that a steal? Based on the player cards we're seeing, 5.2 game score value added for the Athletic. That's absolutely incredible. I think we might have a little bit of a value here. He makes his teammates better. That's something, if you're a friend of the channel, if you've checked out our videos before, you know that's something I love to harp on. You got to make your teammates better. It's not all about you. Mitch Marner does that. And I do think that the Toronto media is a little hard on all the players, right? Even Auston Matthews, and he's out there scoring 50 goals in 50 games, gets a little bit of catches a little bit of flack just because they're not winning all the time, right? That's okay. The Toronto fan base and media is demanding. These players are going to show up for it. So Mitch Marner, I think, is going to have an excellent season. I think he's going to break that 100-point barrier. Absolutely. Maybe 110 isn't out of the question. But we asked one question. Will the Toronto Maple Leafs make it out of the first round of the playoffs this season? We talked about the past state. We talked about the current state. We talked about Mitch Marner in depth. I think he's going to go Super Saiyan. But will they do it? Yes, I think this is the year. Mitch Marner and Auston Matthews are going to lead the Toronto Maple Leafs out of the first round and into the second. How far they go, let's find out. But I do appreciate you guys. That's going to do it for the video today. We'll be back tomorrow with another one, a new topic. Not sure what we're going to talk about. We'll see what the day has in store for us. But thank you guys so much. I do appreciate it. Be sure to check out our other videos. We did a real cool one on Alexander Ovechkin versus Kirill Kaprizov yesterday. But we'll keep doing fun videos. But until tomorrow, thanks guys. Cheers.